And right on cue, we can go live to the G20 foreign ministers meeting in Rio. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is speaking now.
Threat to humanity, and that's climate change. And our countries have been leaders on that. Of course, the rainforest, the Amazon, is one of the world's greatest natural resources when it comes to actually effectively dealing with climate change, carbon emissions. President Lula put it this way when he was at the White House with President Biden. To take care of the Amazon rainforest today is to take care of the planet Earth. And to take care of the planet Earth is to take care of our own survival. I don't think anyone could put it any better. So the United States is working side by side with Brazil to support its efforts to preserve the rainforest, to combat deforestation. We're putting resources into that. We're engaged with many other countries around the world to encourage them to participate. And with USAID and other organizations in the U.S. government, we're working in very practical, concrete ways to help support the management and preservation of the rainforest. In 2025, Brazil will head up the COP30 in Belém. This is a very important opportunity to advance progress on the many different ways in which all of us are dealing with climate change, and we applaud Brazil's leadership. Another area where Brazil is leading and the United States has partnered with Brazil is on dealing with the challenge of food insecurity and global hunger. Here, I'm proud of the fact that the United States has invested billions of dollars over the last few years, both to deal with emergency situations that we faced, the world has faced as a result of climate change, COVID, and conflict, including Russia's aggression against Ukraine. Since 2021, the United States has invested $17.5 billion in trying to support food security for people around the world. But it's not only the emergency assistance that counts, and I discussed this with President Lula. It's the work we are doing to invest in productive capacity around the world for countries from Africa to Latin America to well beyond. That is the answer to the challenge of food insecurity. We have many initiatives underway that are doing just that, adapting our agricultural systems, our food production systems. With Brazil, we have a partnership to bring artificial intelligence and other technologies to improve the soil in countries. And one of the things that we found, and is at the heart of one of our own major new initiatives, VAX, our Vision for Adapted Crops and Soil, is when you have resilient and nutritious seeds, resilient to climate change and other extreme weather patterns, when you have strong soil, anything is possible. And this initiative with Brazil is working to do just that. And that means that what we then put into the ground on top of the seeds and soil, like fertilizer, will be much more effective. So we're working to develop crops that use nutrients more efficiently, more effectively, lowering costs, lowering dependencies, and at the same time, lowering emissions. It's joined with climate change. So another powerful example of where our two countries are working together in common purpose. And then, of course, President Biden, President Lula are joined profoundly by their commitment to protecting worker rights, to defending and strengthening labor around the world. I think both presidents see it the same way. Workers, labor are at the heart of our successes as countries. We are both building economies from the bottom up and the middle out. Here again, the Partnership for Workers' Rights that the two presidents signed, stopping worker exploitation, focusing on forced labor, on child labor, promoting rights around the world. Here again, our countries are joined, and we have a joint action plan as well to eliminate racial and ethnic discrimination and promote equality, equitable access to education, to health care, to justice, particularly for people of African and indigenous origin. I mention all of this because it was really at the heart of the conversation that I had with President Lula yesterday, and aspects are also at the heart of the G20 agenda, which Brazil is leading. And the other main purpose of this visit was to take part in a meeting with the foreign ministers led by Foreign Minister Vieira to prepare the agenda for the leaders when they have the meeting of the G20 leadership toward the end of this year. Here again, Brazil and the United States are working very closely together as partners, and it's the United States' purpose in this to support and make a success of Brazil's presidency of the G20. In all of the areas of focus that Brazil has set forward, whether, again, it comes to advancing the rights of workers and laborers, whether it comes to dealing with climate change, food security, whether it comes to reforming the institutions that shape how countries interact around the world. We are working hand in hand with Brazil on that. Now, the scope, the scale of some of these global challenges is immense. And I know that there are times when it feels like those challenges are outpacing our collective capacity to tackle them. But I think what the G20 can demonstrate, it's demonstrated in the past, and I believe it will demonstrate it in the future, is that no, we actually do have the capacity, when we're working together, to effectively meet the moment, to meet the challenges that we're facing, to actually address the needs of the people that we represent. The United States, for its part, is working to do that. And we had some discussion of these issues in the context of the G20. On Ukraine, there is a strong, palpable desire among virtually all of the G20 for the Russian aggression to end and for peace to prevail in a way that upholds the rights of Ukrainians to their freedom, to their future, to the territorial integrity of their country. And it was very clear in the meetings that we had over the last 2 days. The conflict in Gaza between Israel and Hamas, we're focused intensely on trying to get an agreement that results in the release of the remaining hostages and that produces an extended humanitarian ceasefire. And again, those are goals that I think virtually everyone in the G20 shares. Haiti, an area that is close to home and close to the hearts of Americans and Brazilians alike. We see a situation that continues to deteriorate, particularly when it comes to the profound insecurity as a result of gangs that are running rampant, not only in Port-au-Prince, but increasingly beyond. We see a state that's on the verge of becoming a failed state, and the result is that people are suffering tremendously, not only from the violence, including sexual violence, but just from the inability to get the basic necessities of life. Today, we had a meeting that involved a number of countries, all of whom will be contributing to the mission to help provide renewed security for Haiti that was endorsed by the United Nations last fall and that we're now making real. We have a commitment from Kenya to lead this effort in support of the Haitian National Police. And today we had, as I said, a meeting with well more than a dozen countries, each of whom is contributing or plans to contribute significantly to this mission with personnel, with equipment, with training, and with financial resources. And I think today we had at least another $120 million committed to that effort. We're working together to deal with irregular migration, a challenge that countries around the world are facing in this moment. This is, simply put, a challenge of historic proportions. We see more people on the move now around the planet, not only in our own hemisphere, but around the planet, more people than ever before since we've been recording.